Adequate schools have been left to fester by the Tories, says Labour in an academics row. We're going to read into this more from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Guardian with the headline that inadequate schools have been left to fester by the Tories, says Labour in academics row. Dozens of underperforming schools have been forced to wait more than a year to reopen under new management. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. So there's a bit of a tit for tat here of Tories are blaming Labour, saying that they haven't got these academies or schools back up and running since they've been shut down because of because they've been branded inadequate by Ofsted. And then Labour have accused the Conservatives here of basically fiddling with them by basically leaving these schools to fester, that those who haven't been open because they've been made inadequate when they were under the Conservatives. So that's the row that's been going on. Who are you going to take the choices here? Well, quite frankly, I know a lot of people will say I don't trust the Tories or Labour. And to be quite frank, I don't blame you for making that position straight off the bat, when it comes to this thing. But if I had to pick, who's really to blame here? It is the Conservatives after all. We know that the Conservatives have, since 2010, and it's not hard to do a little bit of Googling to look this up, there has been more money has gone into private schools than there has been in state schools. And the gap of that funding has been widened over the last 14 years. And now that Labour's in charge, we want that money, a lot of that money, the record amounts of money that goes into private schools to come back into state schools. Because guess what? Lots and lots of children who don't get the same education because their families weren't born with a silver spoon in their mouth, they want to be able to have better opportunities. And that's what it's about, bridging that gap in that regard. I don't know if the Conservatives deliberately and intentionally left schools unopened because of academics. Now, in terms of under new management, I will say this though, with regards to new management, because I think this is a fair point in this regard. We know that it's been very difficult not just to recruit new teachers, not just recruit new people in, but also to retain them because of the inadequacy. Not it's just because of the workload is just humongous when it comes to schools to look after, but also it's become the wages are just not as inadequate as they would be, whereas they're better off teaching somewhere else as opposed to here specifically in England. I can't speak for the other UK nations, but this is a row that are really tit for tatting on this one, that is for sure. But what do you guys honestly think? Let's have a little read, shall we? So dozens of schools rated inadequate by Ofsted have faced waits of more than a year before reopening, amid accusations from Labour that they were left to fester by the former Conservative government. Now, waiting more than a year before reopening, that's really, really bad. That's a school place for a student that they could have had, but they didn't get in because for whatever reasons why. Now, yes, they've been made inadequate, so why have there not been a change in management? Why has it not been done quicker? Well, there could be a number of reasons, and every single school's grade, whatever it's is different to every, and it's where it is in the parts of the country is also you have to take that into consideration as well. So every single case you have to treat differently as well. The state of schools and the future of academics have become the subject of increasingly fraught political row. Tory leader Kemi Badenoch has accused Keir Starmer last week of an act of vandalism in new laws restricting freedoms enjoyed by academics. However, insiders point to data showing that in the existing system, some underperforming schools have been left to wait more than 2 years to be overhauled and reopened with new management. That's disgraceful if they've been waiting for more than 2 years. From 2022 to January 2025, 100 schools were converted into academics after being found to be inadequate by inspectors. Of those, 41 had to wait more than a year to reopen, while 10 schools waited at least 2 years. There are further 54 inadequate schools awaiting conversion, of which 39 have been in the process for more than a year. New teams will now be used to help those stuck schools, including some that are already academics under plans by the Education Secretary Bridget Phillipson. Too many schools have been left to fester by the Tories for too long, including many hundreds of academics, said a government source. The Tories face criticism. Tories' criticism has nothing to do with improving the schools that they left fail, and everything to do with defending their dismal record. Several Labour figures are concerned about the party's plans to restrict some of the powers academics have, but rebellion is not expected over the legislation. Badenoch has been focusing on the issue, arguing the reforms will take schools back decades. However, this weekend, head teachers of both council-run and academic schools have hit back. Speaking to The Observer, Andrew O'Neill, head teacher of All Saints Catholic College, a secondary school near West London Grenfell Tower, and a member of the influential Head Teachers Roundtable, has said the oligarchs don't speak for the sector as a whole, even though they think they do. The voices of those running the most challenging schools and academics have been suppressed, and they agreed to the school's bill. Johnny Losley, chief executive of the Education Alliance Academic Trust, has said, which runs 12 primary and secondary schools in North East across the Humber region, said, there is such a mismatch between the level of hyperbole and what is actually in this modest bill. The bill will ensure that all state schools follow the same pay and conditions framework, and an amendment that has been tabled to make clear that there will be no ceiling on pay for schools. Leslie said that, as well as the following the national curriculum, the vast majority of academics following national terms and conditions anyway. He also insisted that the idea that the bill would stop academics innovating or turning around failing schools was just not true. So there is a listen to what the basically the premise is listen to what the teachers are telling you on this. If I'm absolutely honest, yeah, I really do think it was, they haven't really outright attacked the Conservatives because they don't want to be political from the looks of it there, but the biggest failures in all of this are the children. The children are the ones who suffer the most whenever the schools are not there for them, because they've been not open because of management has not been changed over, that they haven't been upgraded to academics. And then you will say, well, surely the what is it? Is it the funds that are not available? That's a good point. Maybe the funds have not been available. We know the Conservatives have been very keen not to spend money during their 14 years of Conservatives, so you could play that a part into it as well in changing over to academies. For me, the main crux of my point is that I want to make sure that every single child has the best possible education and given a fair balance. And quite frankly, that balance is still very much unfair. It is still far too easy for filthy rich parents to throw so much money at their child to give them the best education possible. And it's near to next impossible for children these days to have a successful career for themselves. And they really have to go above and beyond the average level that they used to be. And we need to bring that balance. The balance between state and private is just still far too great. We need to bring that closer together on that. But what do you make of the inadequate schools that have been left to fester by the Tories, says Labour? Do you think Labour have a point? Do the Conservatives have a point? Maybe the school teachers are right on this. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts on this story and more down in the comments section below. Now, if you found this video informative or helpful to you in any way, please hit that like button, be greatly appreciated. Share this across social media so others are notified of this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing because it really helps support the channel as well. If you want to go one step further and finally support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.